Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're here on my grow tent floor again, and I'm here with you this time, and today I'm going to be not remounting, so replacing some moss on a couple of my Lepanthes. Alright, so here's the plant, one of the plants that I'll be working with today. This is Lepanthes pictilis. Let me just see if I can focus on the flower. Not my finger. There you go. It's got a pretty interesting, not a small flower for Lepanthes. It's pretty big actually. But so the reason I want to replace this moss today is, firstly, this moss is kind of old. It's about 2 years old. One way you know when to change the moss, or when I decide to change moss, is usually when it falls apart really easily when you just touch it. This is not yet at that state, nor is it kind of stinky. That's another test. So if you smell it and it's not a pleasant mossy smell, I guess, that's another sign to change it. The third sign, it's not always obvious, is your plants aren't really growing. So this guy's been kind of stagnant for the last few months, and so I'm gonna change this moss, not the mount, just the moss, to see if I can sort of encourage him to grow again, and I'll do a couple others as well. So let me just get my supplies in order. I'm back. I have my supplies behind me. What you'll need, I guess 5 things. So the first thing is some kind of cutting tool to cut the thread off, to remove it from the mount. I like to use some fine tweezers, some forceps. This is to pick around at the moss without really, I don't know, if I did it with my fingers, I feel like I would damage more than if I just use this. You'll need some kind of thing to tie the new substrate, I guess, back on. And this is water, so you want some water. It's better to do this a little moister. The moss tends to release easier when it's wet. So let's get down here and we'll get started. Alright, so I've just placed the plant in a little deli cup kind of thing, just to contain the mess, I guess. I'm sitting on my grow tent floor, so obviously it's not filthy. Yeah, anyways, I like to keep it a little cleaner where I step. But, so I'm just going to spray some water on this guy, just so the moss saturates with water. And then I'm going to cut it loose. See, I have a couple threads there. If you watched any of my previous videos on mounting, or some of my unboxing videos, you'd know how I mount, and if you don't, you'll see now how I do it. Wow, that was a really close call. So I just went and snipped, but I don't know if you see this. Okay, you can. There's some roots that have grown straight through this tree fern, so I'm glad I didn't just hack those off, because I was not expecting that. So pulling this thread away, just throwing it out into my trash can here, and then I'm gonna start getting the moss off. So I want to get all of my thread out. Here we go. So this is still connected, so I'll have to cut that again, and then there's some stray threads here that I'll just try and snip away. Okay. Alright. So some of this is live moss, and so I'm gonna pick it off and collect it. Let me see if I have my tray. Someone asked me where I get my live moss. So here's a tray, for example. Most of this is just grown out. So there's this product here hope that's not upside down. It's called moss mix. And yeah, you just wet this stuff and put it under light, and it grows a variety of mosses. Pretty good product. I like it. And then others, like these just, if you keep Lepanthes for a long time and import a lot, you'll notice there's this kind of moss that is just from the plants when you import them. So this is where this stuff is from. This is before I started using live moss, and so this is just dried sphagnum. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this moss on this mount, but I'm gonna harvest some stuff to mount this thing. But first, let me zoom in here. We'll get picking away at this thing. So again, I got my tweezers here, and I'm gonna just gently pick. So you can see underneath, the moss is probably fine. So now I'm thinking maybe I didn't need to change this moss yet. But anyways, this is pretty tight on here. I can't really see if there's roots, but I'm like being very gentle with my pulls. I'm pulling off little chunks at a time. I'm sure bigger chunks will come off soon, but I'm not sure how into the moss these roots are grown, and I don't want to rip this plant off the mount. So I'm just being gentle with it here. Okay, it looks like I made a little C shape with this moss when I mounted this plant. So I'm just gonna gently tug. Okay. So there's some live moss I can collect. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now. So what I do is I'll just peel it off, and then I'm sticking it on my plate, or my little tray of moss. Okay, there's a root here. I think I might have snapped. Nope, I'm still good. So something is holding this in place still. There's this root here. I'm thinking maybe it's either grown in or it's grown. Okay, so this plant is not grown. It's terrible focus. Sorry about that. It's not. The root that's holding it in is that one down there. That's like making a loop. This one. So I have to just pull this through the loop. It should come out. Actually, this side is skinnier. I'll go this way. Oh, I don't want to rip the roots of something that's already struggling. Come on. Alright, so I'm just using the tweezers to ease it through gently. Okay, cool. So that's gone. Now I want to pluck out any like straggling little bits of old moss. Just to make sure it's the freshest start. There's a lot of dead roots in here, so that could be a reason this thing's not doing too well. I've also recently started using live moss, so that'll be a good change. If you followed my previous videos. So the inside of this is still pretty solid. Sorry, that's so blurry. So I'm gonna leave that be for now. I'm gonna cut off this leaf probably, and I'm gonna cut off this. Oh, it just came up. I guess I can use this time to gently clean up the plant. See, old growths that are like rotted away can just be pulled away usually. If it's hard to pull away, then it's not ready to go. See this guy here? It just comes out. So I'm gonna cut that last one. Right here. Cool. Alright, let's get my moss ready. and I'll show you what I do for that, I guess. So I have my nice little selection of mosses here. I think I have another plate up here. Yeah, I got another plate up here with some nice selections of moss. And then I mean, this is mostly sphagnum, but I have more moss here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pluck out some sphagnum. Okay, cool. There's already some moss on that mount, so I don't need too much. I don't know if you can tell from this plate, but let's see over here. This is not sphagnum, so maybe I'll take a little bit of that. Just have some variety. So pluck that in there. Most of this is sphagnum, so don't have to be too worried about that, I guess. That's not sphagnum though, so nice little mix. And then I make a little kind of not a tight ball, but a little clump, I guess. I guess another reason I get a bunch of mosses is for aesthetic. If you just have live sphagnum, you can just use that. It's probably fine. So this will be my little clump of moss. And the purpose is just to cover this up. So like, wow, it's really bright in here. The shadow. Anyways, so I'm gonna go do that right now. Here we go, my thread. So here's my little tying technique if you haven't seen it before. This I either put in my pocket or just let loose on the floor or table. Okay. So you see here I make one loop, right? If you can see that. So I make a loop and then I tie a single knot up here. So this end goes around and through like that. And what this does is it makes like a flexible shape to this hoop. So this hoop will then go onto the back of the mount, and then you can pull this hoop tight like this. You see it's tightening, and then you can now just, so I like to put my little tag on the back. I do 4 passes, whatever order makes sense, right? So I do top, bottom, and then I do an X. So crossover, and then crossover again. To tie this up, I'll hook this onto the back like this, and then, oh dang, it's hard to focus. I will make a loop and twist like that, right, and put that loop over, and I'll do that 3 times. So if you watch my fingers, I guess this might be upside down for you. Apologize, it might be hard to follow, but basically you just make a circle and loop it around, and that ties it in. So I'm gonna cut this thread, and this is all done. The reason I like live moss, and I'll show you some updates on some plants I've been using this for. I've been preferring this recently over the traditional dried sphagnum that I used to use, because this will tell you when the plant needs water. If it's nice and vibrant green, you're good to go with water. But when it goes really pale when it needs some water. So this might need a little bit of water later, but I'm gonna wait till tomorrow morning when I water everything else. So I'm gonna show you a few more plants that I gotta do this with now. Put this guy back. Alright, here's the next little sulker plant here. This is Lepanthes dodsonii. Wow, this is not great lighting. But you can see here, this moss mount. This mount is covered in live moss. Let's see if I can show you. This is moss that like should be replaced because it's really bad. Right here. See how it's like almost black because it's just full of algae and whatever other crap there is. So I'm gonna liberate this plant from that crap moss and try to keep this nice luscious green live moss here. So same thing. I'm gonna do a little snippy snip. This is Lepanthes Dodsoni. I wasn't sure if I said that. I used to be. This plant sulked for so long and then it started flowering, so I thought it was fine, but I guess it's not fine. Okay. So this might be a little more difficult because there's such a thick mat of live moss. But this just comes out, you see there, so we're good. Let me just give this a little sniff. Surprisingly, it does not stink. So that's telling me like maybe this moss is actually like still fine. Which is kind of surprising to me. See, there's like algae getting all over my fingers now. Okay. I think that's all my threads. So now I'm gonna take these again and just pluck this. So this is, I'm trying to focus this better. This is coming off like super easy. It's still nice and golden underneath, but I don't know if you can tell visually just like how much crappier this is than the other moss I just removed. But this is much crappier. And so here, look. You know what I think it is? It might be the reflective floor. I'm gonna put something down next time. See if you can see that there. There's a lot of old roots here that are probably no longer mean anything. So what I'm gonna do, yeah, there's a lot of, I guess that's like fungus there. There's a little springtail. I'm just gonna cut this off with some scissors. These same scissors. Not even a little snappy sound, so this is all like dunzo. Goner roots. So I'll do another little snip here. I'm gonna see if I can pull some of this out. Wow, my camera is failing epically today. Okay, it looks like I can kind of parse this out. I don't want to remove too much just in case some of them are still functional. But anyways, so that's all good. Got a lot of the sphagnum out. So this green moss is not something that I've purchased. This is just stuff that comes with the plant, and it's like, I don't know, is this cushion moss? Is that what you call it? It's very it feels like a pillow. Theoretically I could probably leave this like this and this cushion moss will take over, but for the sake of being complete, I'm just gonna put a little bit of live sphagnum under here like that. And the mosses can compete for dominance, I guess. I don't know what you call it. Also gonna snip this dead leaf right here, and also this leaf. Oh! I just snipped a. Dang. Okay, unlucky. I just snipped the actual leaf. Boo. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm gonna actually peel away this moss that's around the plant, and move it somewhere else down there. I'm worried that this might be blocking the growths. I don't know. but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's hard to look up and down at the same time, but okay, I'm in the corner, so we're good. I'm just moving this off of the actual plant, and hopefully I can open up some airflow to the growing points. Oh, okay. Wow, that was really unlucky that I just cut a leaf off there. But, you know, stuff happens. Okay, so I'm gonna tie this up now. And if you can't really follow what I'm doing with the thread in this video, I think I have like 4 or 5 videos where I do it maybe clearer, so you can check those out if you are curious. So again, here's the beginning of the thread. I make a little loop, or a big loop, I guess, and then I single knot around the thread. Like that, and then I have my little tightening thing here. Put it around the back of this. Pull it down, and then put my tag in the back. Usually hold it with some fingers. And then I do 4 things. Last time I did top, bottom, X. Now I'll do X, bottom, top. For whatever reason, I don't know, don't really have a reason. You know, I'm also feeling this mount is very wet, so that might also be a reason why it's not doing too good. And then at the end, I hook it around this again and do 3 little hoops. I did 2 already, so it's actually 4. 3, I don't know. Anyways, I'll give updates on how these guys are doing, you know, in a few weeks, I guess, when it's appropriate. I want to show you now some plants that I have been using live moss for that are growing quite well, and I'll yeah, now call it for this video. For those of you who haven't noticed, my shirt says Plant Fizz, and this is like a fern fiddlehead. Botanical Society of America. This is like a pop bottle. Anyways, here's one that's doing well. This is Lepanthes d'Alessandroi. You see what I mean by the moss is nice and green when it has water. But when you touch it, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like waterlogged sphagnum, where it you know, you touch it and you get soaked and it's like dripping wet. I think this creates the nice microclimate for the roots. Again, all speculation. I have no proof for this, but my things are growing well with this, so that's my 2 cents. Let's see another one. Another one I have here. This one's in bloom. This is Lepanthes telepogoniflora. Everyone's favorite Lepanthes. Pardon this leaf that needs to be removed. I thought that would peel off easier. Guess it's not ready to be removed. But you can see here, it's not all sphagnum. There's that mix of different mosses I got going, so it's nice and green. And again, like if I touch this, I'm not wet after I touch it, so, or I'm just like a little bit damp. Anyways, check out this flower though. Awesome. I actually have a lot of them in bloom right now. This one's not fully open yet, but this one's a little darker orange. It's a little folded. Come on, focus, camera. There you go. Yeah, such a great great species. I guess I'll show one more. Where's a good example? Oh, here's one. This one is Lepanthes pelvis. I think I got the most variety of mosses on this. I don't know. But you see how like nice and green this is? I like it a lot, just aesthetically. This one's a little more wet, but yeah, I don't have any that are pale. Actually, I do. So when this is because I didn't use very much moss. This was actually for my Orchid Valley order. Lepanthes telugoniflora. See, I made a new leaf since I've got it. But see that right there? Let me zoom in. That sphagnum goes ghost white when it needs some water. So that tells me I need to water the plant. But I already watered it this morning, so. And this plant is so small. But anyways. Yeah. Anyways. Thanks for watching my video. I appreciate all the support. I haven't been too active lately. I'm really busy, but hope to make a lot of videos throughout the summer. Sneak peek, I have some stuff that may or may not be for sale soon. So, I guess look out for an announcement on that. I guess you can't really see what this is because it's so small, but there's some Lepanthes acarina seedlings and some Lepanthes ortigae seedlings. That's two of them for sure. Anyways, thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one.